Girl, you make me go so loco, loco, make me go crazy. We would make a beautiful baby. Knock on wood, is you trying to date me? Is it yes, is it no?
Hello everyone, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the Blue Blog podcast. I will be your host, Bradley. Most of the Brads know my voice from This is Bradley, which is my YouTube channel, and there are those of you who are just hearing my voice for the very first time, and hopefully not the last, for this is one of so many episodes to come on this podcast. So, my inception was on 2004. I was brought forth into a big family, and I was like the youngest one. Like a decade plus one young. So I had a lot of heavy influence from a mature environment. This heavily impacted my perception in life. I emulated the same reasoning that I saw in my surroundings and started acting way too mature for my age. You could picture a not so typical childhood, one where instead of like going out, being on adventures, they'd rather be in-house and chill. Because maybe their perspective is that that's kind of childish. Ironically, they themselves are still a child. A black chick took breath and we were faced with one of the most tragic occurrences. But the unity instilled in our hearts was all thanks to my mom, and it saw us through. Soon after, most of the birds flew out the coop, and it wasn't long until it was just me and my mom. We really have a close relationship. See, for she raised me and taught me values, took me through school, and just prepared me for life. Most importantly, she loved and still loves us all. We are fortunate to have such a mom who'd go out of her way to make it all happen just for us. So here I am in my primary years studying at Harman Minor. I'm so sorry for not touching on my kindergarten years, but to be honest, those years were a blah. But a notable mention, one that you just gotta give credit, was to my teacher, teacher AB. She actually set the foundation, for the person I became. On to primary, I would describe those years as explorative, impactful, and naive. I genuinely explored a lot, especially relationship-wise. Coming from a place where, as a child, I hadn't made good childhood friends, primary gave me that chance. You see, that space for me to, relate with friends my age and just connect with them on a deeper level. So with that chance, bro, I took it and ran right through. So I saw myself growing a very malleable character that could be bent, shaped, resized, and manipulated to fit the requirement. Meaning, I would adapt to whoever I was interacting with. It became really handy to maneuver, through primary, because those are some tough years. But being able to fit yourself in different boxes and allow yourself to adapt to your environment and cope with whatever's going on, you could genuinely make it through, and I'm really glad I did. Of course, you see, there were those interactions that they stuck and others could be sparked, but eventually it would die down. The gist is, I slowly became a people person. I was basically that guy. I was that guy to everyone, which came with a lot of perks, but it had its downsides. And it's like one of those where the effects only come later. Much of this was only school bound, like restricted to, when school is over, everything you just like disconnects. So for the life I had beyond school, like at home, where I actually come from, to be honest, that life was pretty secluded. You could just imagine the enthusiasm I had to go back to school, to get back to my friends, to get back to these relationships that I had built and that worked for me, at least. I felt like I was getting back to having a life, but I genuinely had fun. For all of you who are curious about the relationships, you better go ahead and give this pod a rating, share the podcast to your community, and let's grow the Brad's family. We shall revisit this topic in a future episode. Back to primary period, we closely come to the national exams. Pressure is on me like a mofo, but what got me through was one of these relationships that I keep on mentioning. Enough to even go ahead and help me like improve performance-wise. Now exams get done, clearance done. Now the life I had school bound is no more. And I'm just like scrambling. I'm out here trying to hold on to like cellular ties with the life that I had. Every time, you see, bad connections, my call gets dropped, and I'm on the fence. I'm just all alone. As the year turned from 2018, it was the onset of the dark age in my life. I began breaking from the inside. I mean, in my mind, everyone had just abandoned me, like literally. I was off the rails. I was going on a rant. Like that eve of 2019, it was just brazy, fam. A huge emotional outburst from within. For I felt it was literally me against the world. This was the first crisis of my childhood trauma coming from me. Even at that time, I didn't know what that was. But you know what? Just to kind of tie in how music is embedded in me, since I'm an artist, Alicia Cara's album Growing Pains was the soundtrack that helped me cope when I couldn't cope. I sang through it. I'm not a talker, but I'd sing once or twice just to help me get those emotions out sonically. Then I get taken to a whole other foreign environment, still trying to adjust with the millions of things in my mind. On top of that, we're gonna layer in some expectations, and then we're gonna put on some more expectations on you. And so from the start of this stage in my life, it started on a downhill trajectory. Year 2, the pandemic hits, and it sends me even deeper into depression. The lowest, loneliest place I have ever been in my life. I was shedding tears every week. I genuinely felt God's hand nudging me to my breaking point, only for Him to open me up to the idea of opening up to people and sharing my grievances. God sparked a light in my life, the light of looking inward. Through Umi, she is a ray of sunshine, a beam of light, like God brought her into my life at the right time. I started watching her full moon videos, the whole series, and it helped me awaken a newfound purpose within me. It literally saved me from plunging myself into despair. I started walking through my trauma. Hell, that's when I knew I had trauma. I identified them and how they affected me thus far on my life journey. That whole acclamation and climax point of my depressive state had to happen for me to get here. Like, it was not by chance. I believe each and every event that occurs in my life is only a cause and effect to get me to where I'm supposed to be. That's just me. I'm sure all that brought me here, and for me, I'm pretty happy about where I am. I'm truly satisfied. I'm really happy about how far I've come. The place that I'm in right now, it is so beautiful. Coming out of this period, in mind, I had that mission to like work on myself, and that's just what I did. I just gave myself the time and just took the initiative day by day and worked on myself. And I'm not done. I'm still doing so. I'm still working on myself. But on its downside, I ended up detaching structured relationships from my beliefs. Like, you know how you have this relationship and you have this, like, you can genuinely say, if I ask you, who's your friend? This is my friend. Who's your best friend? This is my best friend. Like, you have this definitive boundaries around my best friend is this and this and this and this, and this is what our best friend actually means to me. I detached away from that, and where I'm at right now, I started experiencing life momentarily. So in my mind, all that exists is this moment, and not those titles of like, this is my best friend, this is my best friend. Like, for me, like, all of that, this is my acquaintance. Like, for me, all that exists and all that is the energy and the experience that I had and I get from you. You understand? Of which I'll be honest, it's lonely. Sometimes it gets lonely. For you feel like you never could touch real, because, well, we've been trained like the title best friend is what's real. So the fact that you don't have titles, you feel like you'll never like be able to touch real. You understand? I began healing, and that's all I cared for coming out of this stage in my life. When I was done with high school, I had a newfound stability and better managed like the hurdles that were thrown at me. I now was equipped with more tools to kind of navigate through life better. And for me, where I'm at is I'm only trying to get better. I'm only trying to learn more. I'm only trying to put myself through the fire and understand who I am really when the cameras are off. Who I am when I face danger. You get me? What character do I possess? All I have is for my dreams. All zeal, all will, all heart, all beating, all fighting chance that were given to me, that are going to be given to me, are for my dreams. That's where I'm at right now. And to be honest, I remember I was in high school, and I promised my younger self that we would achieve our dreams no matter what. Like, I wrote to myself, I sat with a younger me, and I told myself, like, you see all these things, all these ideas, all these genuine visions you have of yourself, the visions that you have of your future, those are valid. And I promise you one thing, each and every single one we shall achieve. So help me God. I am at a better position, not only doing what I chose, but purely what I wanted to shape my future. I didn't just come out of nowhere and pick on things that necessarily would add me up to a certain person's view of me or their vision of me. You understand? I am happy where I am. I truly am. God has been with us on this mission since day one, and He has saw it fit to take us thus far. A whole 2 decades. Raise your glasses. Share this happiness. We just made it to the 2-decade celebration. Too many more decades. Amen.
Girl, you make me go so loco, loco, make me go crazy. We would make a beautiful baby. Knock on wood, is you trying to date me? Is it yes, is it no?